The ideas that gave birth to our nation are the ideas that our nation is resistant to right now, and we should talk about that all the time.
In a world where narratives are shaped by corporations and gatekeepers, independent voices matter more than ever. Badlands Media brings together citizen journalists, researchers, and independent thinkers.
The truth is triggering.
Question the narrative. Explore the facts.
It's authenticity, courage, resilience.
Search for the truth others won't.
It's not about being first or being right.
The information war is changing.
It's about being authentic.
Embrace the friction.
Embrace the friction.
Shut the f*** up.
Authentically antagonizing. Join the movement.
I'm going to say how I feel.
Follow Badlands Media.
This is about the future.
The Badlands. What are the Badlands? Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Okay.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Herald here on Badlands Media. I'm your host, Jon Herold, and hope you're all having a great Wednesday. Big shout out to CSUSB Geochem. He says he got accepted to the Aircraft Maintenance Tech program at his local community college. They only accept 25 people a quarter. He's been trying for over a year. So congrats, man. Happy for you, and happy to see you here. I think Ty said it in the chat also. Hopefully you can still take your daily break at 1 p.m. Eastern every day. Yeah, so today's show, we're going to talk and probably spend, I guess, I don't know how long it'll take. Maybe not that long. But I want to talk about the Comey indictment because I feel like I'm on an island here a little bit. Everybody's talking about how awesome this is and all these things. And I'm looking at it, and it is so weak. And I understand, like, we'll go through all the arguments because I know it's like I have no love for James Comey. It's great that, he's being indicted. I also understand the argument, when they go after mob bosses, whatever. I don't even remember the guy's name that they keep bringing up, but they got him on tax charges, even though he did all these other crimes. I get all that stuff, but I'm not one really celebrating this, and I don't really celebrate much anyway. I'm pretty even keel when it comes to all these stories. I don't get emotionally attached, right? That's what we work on. But I have a different take on this, and I want to present it to you. It's just my opinion. I know there's a lot of opinions out there, but we'll talk about it. So how about Zigzag? Did you mix your intro and outro music, John? Put it on Apple Music so I can loop it. I didn't mix it. I don't know where either of those came from. Adam Riva made my little Daily Herald intro, and then Green Star made the new Badlands AI in the Rain intro. So you'll have to ask them for where they got those. Let's get a quick word from our sponsors, and then we'll get right to it, and we'll talk some James Comey. So come ready with your opinions. I want to hear from you guys too. First up, we got PetClub 247.
Science proves that a healthy immune system is the body's first defense against the smallest of ailments to the most catastrophic. Coriolus versicolor is the most sought-after, all-natural supplement for both humans and pets to help boost the immune system. There are over 400 studies worldwide on its effectiveness in humans, including Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, MD Anderson Cancer Center, and now from the University of Pennsylvania School of Veterinary Medicine. Together, we can help reverse this terrible tide now plaguing your loved ones and give them the immune-boosting supplements that they need.
PetClub 247. Make sure you guys check out the interview I did with them on America First Stories. I think it was episode number 4. The caplet they sell, the little mushroom thing. I actually ordered it. I think it got here maybe yesterday or today. I haven't checked my mailbox, but gonna start taking it because my mind was blown. And we also have My Pillow sponsoring today's show.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, MyPillow mattresses and MyPillow mattress toppers as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets. Regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard MyPillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale, only $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's going to ship absolutely free.
All right. No update on the Doge website. Actually, I guess I should probably check before. I knew it. Predicted that. Gold and silver right now, they are at, silver's down again a little further, 72.23. Gold is at 4,500. Bitcoin is at 75.9. And then no update on the presidential website. But that leads us to the Comey indictment, probably the biggest news from the last 24 hours. Comey indicted by federal grand jury over controversial Instagram post targeting Trump. Federal grand jury in North Carolina has indicted former FBI Director James Comey over a controversial Instagram post from last year that President Trump and members of his administration said amounted to a threat against the president. The case centers on a now deleted post in which Comey shared a photo of seashells arranged to display the numbers 8647, captioned "Cool shell formation on my beach walk." Trump allies pointed to the slang use of 86 as meaning to nix or get rid of, arguing the post was a veiled threat toward the president. The Department of Homeland Security and the Secret Service opened investigations shortly after the post surfaced. The effort appears to have gained momentum under acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, who has accelerated work on cases that President Trump has publicly pushed since appointing him to the new role. Officials have been moving through matters that had previously stalled or remained under review. So, the post, the Instagram post, when it first came out and everybody was like freaking out over it, I was basically at the time like, I don't see this as an issue, guys. I don't really care. And maybe it's because like me, myself, I have received much more direct threats than that. And I know I'm not the president. And yes, I know it's a law that they made in like 1917 or something that you can't make threats against the president. The founding fathers, though, by the way, would like call each other names and say much worse things and then threaten each other to duels and kill each other, like literally kill each other. So an Instagram post, seashell formation, to me, it's not a big deal. And I understand why people are saying like, yeah, it is a big deal, though. He's making a threat to kill the president. The thing is I don't think that this is going to even get to jury. There was a clip from, was it Judge Andrew Napolitano, and we're going to play it. But actually, first, let's play this. This is Todd Blanche talking about the indictment. We'll only listen to about half of this. And then I want to play the Napolitano thing, and then I want to talk a little bit more about my thoughts on this.
Do you have proof that the former FBI director knowingly and willfully threatened the life of the president?
The grand jury indicted Mr. Comey yesterday. Grand juries hear evidence. That evidence is not something that anybody can talk about today. But when you talk about whether proof exists, the proof that we have is in the fact that the grand jury returned an indictment. Remember, that is not the Department of Justice charging James Comey with a crime. That is a grand jury returning a 2-count indictment.
Let's do a compare and contrast, Mr. Blanche. In 2022, someone well-known in right-wing circles, Jack Posobiec, posted on X, 8646. He did not take it down. He did not apologize. Mr. Comey has done both of those things. The Biden Justice Department never...
Did you catch that there? Jack Posobiec has done the same thing. And if you're operating just on principles and you do see an issue with the Comey thing, then you should also see an issue with what Jack Posobiec posted, and you should be demanding his arrest as well, right? Like, that's just based on principles. But to me, I don't see either as an issue, so I don't care. But if you're celebrating and cheering and like, you know, hey, this is great, then you should also be calling for Jack Posobiec to be indicted as well. That's how the game works.
Prosecuted him. By the standard of that grand jury, Jack Posobiec should face charges as well. Will the Justice Department pursue that case? Because they sound very similar.
That's just completely not true. That's not how a grand jury does its work. They don't just look at a single image and then say, okay, yes, we'll indict, or okay, no, we won't indict. They do an investigation. This conduct took place in May of last year, May 15th. It has been almost a year. I assure you, the FBI, the Secret Service, and the U.S. Attorney's Office have not been sitting around doing nothing. They have been investigating. I have no idea whether there was an investigation into the other times that post has been made and whether that investigation yielded different results. This investigation that we undertook resulted in a 2-count indictment. So you cannot compare, well, what happened last time, what happened this time. Every investigation is different. You know that. The American people know that. A lot of factors go into whether somebody should or should not be charged. The mere fact that there's a similar photo posted or similar statement made, that's true. Every day there's comments made about President Trump, threats made against President Trump. Every one of those are not indicted. It depends on the facts of.
So there's that. And now take a listen to this. And I very much agree with Napolitano and his take on this. And I even he references some Supreme Court precedent and cases. I tried to figure out which one he was referring to, and I may have gotten it, but I'm not 100% sure because it doesn't sound exactly like how he describes it. So I'm not even going to get into it. But he makes a really good point here, and I think there's something that we should be looking to even beyond what he says here. So take a listen.
Senior judicial analyst, Judge Andrew Napolitano. So, Judge, the last time they got this thing thrown out because of a process issue.
Right.
This is not in Virginia. This is not in D.C. This is in North Carolina. Process isn't going to get it done this time.
Well, I don't think it matters that there's a relatively conservative jury base here, because I don't think this case will ever see a jury. There's no crime here under several Supreme Court opinions, one of which says if there's a passage of time between the alleged threat and any harm caused, that dissipates the threat. And it also gives the person threatened the opportunity to challenge it. Stated differently, if this were a real threat to the President of the United States, Comey would have been charged a year and a half ago. But the more important legal principle is free speech. If there is any non-criminal interpretation of the speech, that trumps, no pun intended, lowercase t, that trumps the criminal aspect. So are there other meanings to 8647 besides I want to kill the president?
No. I don't think there are, right? Because 86 is
also
is
used in
interpreted
diners
as
to cancel an order.
Well, 86,
or to
right, 86
kill,
could mean cancel the presidency.
kill or cancel, right?
As long as there's a non-criminal interpretation of this, it's protected speech. I think the case is frivolous. I'm not a fan of Comey's at all, and I've never hesitated to criticize him. And we all know what almost happened to the President of the United States the other night, and two dreadful prior occasions. But this is a political vendetta against a political adversary, and it shouldn't be using the Justice Department as a means for that.
So what he said there, that this is like it's essentially going after a political vendetta or whatever. That's the way I kind of see it too, and that's the problem to me. Again, no love for James Comey. I think this man should be in prison for so many other reasons, like treason, guys. Like what he did with the Russiagate hoax and his role in with Brennan and all those people working against Trump, the damage that was caused by that, and like what he did, that is treason. He should be on trial for treason, and maybe that is coming. Okay, maybe. But if he gets charged with this and it's weak, it doesn't stick, this would be number 2, because remember, he got charged previously in, was it Virginia or whatever, for lying to Congress, and that ended up getting dropped for process charge. Now, this is the second one. What happens when later on they bring a more serious charge like treason and it does stick? Have we diluted the criminality? Does it make it look like Trump is going after his political opponents? I think it kind of does. And we look at the effect that it had when Trump was out of office and Biden was in there, And we all saw the political persecution that they were doing against Trump, and we decried it and all these things and how it was wrong. And the mainstream media never acknowledged it. And they always said that it was Trump. He's the one he's threatening to go after his political opponents and all those things. It's kind of what's happening. It's kind of what it looks like. Like the media, if this one gets dropped, the media can use this. And I know a lot of people don't care about the media and whatever. I'm just saying, like, in a period of narrative warfare, how the narrative is portrayed is important. Like, them being able to say that, yeah, Trump went after his political opponents with weak stuff, I don't think that's a win for Trump. I don't know who is yelling outside. Oh, Blowtorch kid. It's outside biking. I don't see it as a win. Now, like, if this is the only thing we can get him for and somehow it does stick or whatever, okay, great. Like, I guess he's in prison, but to me, it's so weak. There's got to be so much better. And there's so many other instances of, like, the rhetoric in this country right now is at an all-time high. Like, if they're going after people for an Instagram post like that, I just wonder how many other people they could go after and what happens when the pendulum swings the other way. Like, we've said a lot of things that, I guess, never like calling for the assassination of anybody, but we've said things that, they could probably try to make a case out of. And I'm a free speech absolutist. Like, I think people should say whatever they want to say. Even the violent threat stuff, like, unless they're able to directly follow through on that, and it shows that they're trying to have people directly follow through on that, I mean, people are going to say what they're going to say. Again, I've been threatened in a much more serious fashion than the 8647 seashell post. So I don't know. I'm not as excited about it as everybody else. I know a lot of the Q decoders I'm seeing are saying this is like the first arrest will shock the world. This is, the entire Q thing coming to fruition. I don't know about that. But Nunya941 says, yeah, this looks like just like what they did to Trump. Pissed me off. Been salty for a few weeks now. Tired of all the lying both sides. And think about this too, because, Trump is the one that we always say, benefit of the doubt. We know he's for sure doing psyops. We don't know who in his administration is working with him or against him. And when it comes to like Pam Bondi, it appeared she was maybe slow walking some stuff, considering all the things that have happened ever since, she left and Todd Blanche got put in there. But that doesn't mean I trust Todd Blanche or the prosecutor, whoever's running this case. If the narrative part of things is more important than anything else, and the narrative that we're going to get out of this, or at least the public, the normies are going to get out of this, is that, oh yeah, Trump is politically persecuting his enemies. I think it dilutes the Russiagate stuff. But then does that narrative help him or hurt him? And so what does it say about the people that are pushing it forward? Because I don't think it's Trump himself behind the scenes putting together and presenting to a grand jury a case against James Comey. It's definitely not happening. So does this hurt or help Trump? Look to Twitter. Oops, Twitter doesn't exist anymore. Ooh, that's true. It didn't say look to X. It said look to Twitter. It's a great point, Joe Gilmore. Maggie Bundy, the arrest to shock the world was Trump, in my opinion. I agree with that. Marine in the Woods, with his past as head of the FBI, there's no way he didn't equate 86 in the same way as the mob. Okay, but then again, Jack Posobiec, he's former military. He's got a big platform. He said the same thing. He knew exactly what that meant. But again, as Napolitano said, and this was the Supreme Court case precedent I was trying to find, is if there is any other interpretation for it, which is like canceling an order at a restaurant, you can cancel the order for the president, then the Supreme Court or whoever the court is supposed to rule based on that. And that's what's going to happen. Yeah, I should have known that most of the people in the audience would not be upset about Posobiec being arrested. So TJ714, wow, this narrative. Oh no, what happens when they are back in power? BS. Go hold hands and sing Kumbaya. Yeah, hopefully they never get back in power, but elections are still fake and game, man. And I just worry, as a free speech absolutist, this is such a weak charge to go after somebody that I think there's mountains of evidence to go after him for treason. Now, is this just a placeholder? Like, is it just step one? Are we going to go get him for the treason stuff later? Hopefully. But I don't know. It's going to be pretty silly if this doesn't end up sticking, which I don't think it will. Let's see. I think we better check with 107 on this one. Funny. Edgar Friendly. Posobiec agreed to turn himself in today on Bannon's show if it would help in the trial of Comey. Posobiec is a cuck. I think he was being facetious when he said that. Palin Republican, they found more incriminating evidence on his phone. Maybe. Smells like Rico. Poso might want to be arrested. Bannon and Navarro can't be the only ones. Maggie Bundy, I had a black pillar tell me that Donald J. Trump was 45th and 47th. 4 plus 5 equals 9, and 4 plus 7 equals 11. Therefore, Trump is behind 9/11. Holy batshit crazy. That is an interesting decode. Wahlberg Forge, step one shouldn't be so gay. Yeah. I have doubts there will be any charges of treason ever. I hope I'm wrong. It's from Country Red 247. I hope you're wrong too. T. Gretzky, what if it was a coordinated event with all the Rico Grant conspirators messaging about it? But none of the other ones put it out. Precious Freedom 13. Each indictment will be worse than the last. But yeah, that's really all I had to say. And maybe apparently I'm not the only one who has this opinion. I guess I was going through Twitter and everybody was like, this is awesome. This is great. Like, finally, justice. I'm like, this isn't justice. I'm glad you guys kind of feel the same way. So just keep in mind the narrative war aspects of this and really think to yourself whether or not this dilutes, in terms of the normies, the actual justice we are expecting to come later on. 12 Any Boy, election rug and treason justice rug is where I stand. And see, but it's easier for you to stand on rugs, Ty, because you're shorter and your center of gravity is lower, so that when the rug is pulled eventually, it won't hurt you as much as some of us taller folk. Bernie, maybe Trump is going to prove elections are fake by winning midterms with a 0% approval rate. That would be hysterical. That's an interesting way to look at that. Country Red 247. Charges of treason that stick would be great 250th anniversary Independence Day reward. Yeah. But think about it. He had one Instagram post and it took over a year for them to bring an indictment. How long is it going to take for them to bring indictments over the Russiagate stuff with how convoluted and crazy that stuff is? That's the only legit thing I see is the potential for Discovery to show someone else colluding. Yeah, I think his explanation when he went on Kimmel shortly afterwards was they just found it on the street or on the beach. Like, he didn't make it. And then his wife, or he said, I'm going to take a picture of it. And they were trying to figure out what it was. Well, I could just find probably the exact quote. Comey, Kimmel. Yeah, here we go.
Here, but is this Instagram?
Instagram.
You
yeah.
grammed this. You were walking down the beach. What happened? You were walking down the beach and you saw this on the beach?
Yeah, my wife and I, Patrice, were walking on the beach and saw those numbers in shells on the beach. And
you didn't do this. Somebody else did this.
Yeah, somebody else did it. We were on a walk preparing for this week, the rollout of my book.
Yep.
She looked at it and said, why'd someone put their address in the sand?
All right.
And then we stood at it, trying to figure out what it was. And she'd long been a server in restaurants. And she said, you know what I think it is?
Yeah.
I think it's a reference to restaurants when you would 86 something in a restaurant.
Right, it's off the menu.
Yeah. I said, no, I remember when I was a kid, you'd say 86 to get out of a place. This place stinks. Let's 86 it.
Right. I was a bartender. You would 86 a customer if they were getting drunk. Like, let's 86 them. Let's like give them a low proof alcohol or something like that. Yeah.
And so I said, I think it's a clever political message. And she said, you should take a picture of it. I said, sure. And then she said, you should Instagram that. And boom.
Well,
I don't know. I think they're going to have a tough time proving, they're just going to have a tough time getting to jury there. So retarded, faking gay, says T. Gretzky. I agree with that. Rebel Laner, it doesn't matter the reasoning behind the picture. It's protected for heaven's sake. We need friction, so we need free speech. Anyone know about Alcatraz being updated to Gitmo 2? I heard they were going to do that, but I don't know if we've seen any movement on that. There's rumors that Kimmel is going to be taken off the air soon. Curious to see if that actually happens or not. Anyway, man, we can keep going. There wasn't a whole lot of other headlines, so I'm going to lean on you guys today at the end, especially. I kind of figured I would talk longer on the Comey stuff, and I didn't. Trump has allegedly rejected Iranian proposal, keeps naval pressure on Tehran. President Trump told Axios he plans to maintain a U.S. naval blockade on Iran until Tehran agrees to terms addressing U.S. concerns over its nuclear program, rejecting an Iranian proposal that would have reopened the Strait of Hormuz first and push nuclear talks to a later stage. Trump said he views the blockade as somewhat more effective than bombing, arguing Iran is under severe economic strain and wants relief through a deal. He said he will not lift the pressure while Tehran continues advancing its nuclear program. No military action has been ordered, but Trump has kept the option on the table if negotiations fail. U.S. Central Command has prepared contingency plans involving a short and powerful wave of strikes on Iranian infrastructure, intended to increase pressure on Tehran to bring it back to the negotiating table if diplomacy remains stalled. So really no movement. It's kind of what that means. Yes, we'll get to the redistricting. Here we go. We got that next. Supreme Court rejects Louisiana map, tightens limits on race in redistricting. It's a pretty big win, I'd say. The Supreme Court ruled 6-3 that Louisiana's congressional map creating a second majority black district was an unconstitutional racial gerrymander, narrowing how states can rely on race when drawing districts under the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Writing for the majority, Samuel Alito said, compliance with Section 2 of the law can justify consideration of race, but does not require states to adopt maps that prioritize racial outcomes. He wrote that Section 2, correctly understood, does not impose liability that conflicts with the Constitution and did not mandate Louisiana's redraw. Justice Clarence Thomas joined the court's ruling, but issued a separate opinion saying he would have gone further. Thomas argued that the Voting Rights Act should not be used to challenge how states draw congressional districts at all. He said the law is meant to protect access to the ballot, not regulate how states design district maps. He said that redistricting decisions fall outside the state's statute scope, writing that no claims under that section should succeed in the future districting cases. I'm really curious to see what they're going to do with the Virginia situation, because we just had Texas, right? They approved Texas's, and then here they didn't approve this one, but I mean, it was mainly because of the racial aspect to it. I'm very curious how they're going to go about ruling on Virginia's. And I think Ash maybe talked about that on Culture of Change last week. So probably worth checking that out. I know I didn't. I did not have time. I typically don't have time to watch many of the Badlands shows, unfortunately. Jana LN, if Kimmel gets fired or worse, it'll only lionize him. Yeah, there was a little bit of what appeared to be a lionization of him last time this happened. You could argue it was fake. I don't know. I agree with you, but I think it was Chris who doesn't agree with that. Kirill Dmitriev, this is from Q Awakening. President Putin and President Trump held a constructive phone call, also discussing potential U.S.-Russia economic and energy cooperation. They've been having those discussions for a while with the Ukraine situation. So not surprising. AOB 22, and it was a 9-0. This was a 7-2, this ruling, unless you're talking about something else. Frederick Leathers says, attention, I'm way behind, but the idea that we can go after them because they will do the same to us is crap. 2020 Steel was a trial run if they take 28. Yeah. Polymathodon, it's all fake though. Yes, I agree. I mean, so it's a great win, but what's it matter when the election system is illegitimate anyway? If it's ever fixed, that was a great win for sure. The House Oversight Committee is looking for records after they have found the DC crime data manipulation. The committee move follows a December 2025 interim staff report alleging that former MPD Chief Pamela Smith pressured and in some cases directed commanders to alter crime data to preserve the appearance of lower crime rates in the nation's capital. After that report, city officials indicated an internal audit would review whether incidents were being properly classified. So I wonder I mean, December 2025, that was happening under Trump, when Trump was posting a lot about the lower crime rate. That is interesting. Congress sucks and is illegitimate, but I am curious to see what they end up finding on that. Ooh, Comey actually surrendered. Appeared in court. I wonder if we got any pictures of that yet. He surrendered Wednesday to law enforcement at a federal court in the Eastern District of Virginia. He was briefly placed under arrest ahead of his first appearance in court. The hearing lasted less than 10 minutes. Comey is charged with making a threat against the president and transmitting a threat to interstate commerce, according to court documents. He said he's still innocent. The charges were brought in North Carolina, but Comey's first appearance was in Virginia. Comey entered and exited the courtroom through a side entrance. Wore a dark suit. Don't care what he wore. He was allowed to leave without conditions for his release. No plea was entered. I don't see why they'd be necessary at this time, said Fitzpatrick. It's interesting. He's not actually the judge overseeing the case, so. Comey's attorneys told the judge they plan to file motions accusing the Justice Department of selectively and vindictively prosecuting their client. What if they win those? What does that do for later, like, treason charges? Is Comey going to end up being able to walk? And I know there's people out there with the theory that, I think I even saw Cam pop in the chat say this, that he's been working with Trump the whole time, all those things, whatever. Maybe. So maybe that'd be all part of the plan, but maybe not, and that would really suck. But yeah. Man, what a weak show today. Just so little to talk about. Fed meeting. They have Powell's doing his last Fed meeting today. And while that's happening, Kevin Warshie got out of committee. Oh, I thought this was interesting. U.S. spy agencies examine how Iran would react to Trump declaring victory. U.S. intelligence agencies are studying how Iran would respond if President Trump were to declare a unilateral victory in the 2-month-old war that has killed thousands and become a political liability for the White House. The intelligence community, first of all, like the fact that if this is even real and people from the intel community are talking about it to the press, big no-no. But anyway, the intelligence community is analyzing the question along with others at the request of senior administration officials. The goal is to understand the implications of Trump potentially pulling back from a conflict that some officials and advisors worry could contribute to deep Republican losses at the midterm elections later this year. While no decision has been made and Trump could easily ramp back up, a quick de-escalation, scrolled down way too far, could ease political pressures. I think it's interesting. I mean, is Trump about ready to pull out, which I think would be, I mean, hopefully. But whatever happens, I'm curious to see how Israel would respond then. Because I have a hard time believing Israel would stop the campaign. And yeah, that could be interesting. I need it happens, but what color was his tie? Biden's DOJ would have broke his door down. You think they'll put his mugshot on coffee cups? Maybe. Was that a BB joke? I don't know. I don't remember. Maybe they gave Comey a bargain, jail for 20 years versus treason and death. I hope not. John, your show is never weak. I appreciate that. But when the news is weak, when the news cycle is weak, it makes for a weaker show. It's not my fault. It's just there's not as much to talk about. Kind of is what it is. The wild one last night, though, that was awesome. Somebody on the Badlands team needs to do a show on the RICO statutes. No one seems to fully understand them. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea, Bay. I feel like me and Ash could probably put together a good show on that. Elf Boy John, could these little cases be happening to give them false confidence going into the treason stuff? Just a thought. But why do they need false confidence? Why does that matter? Like, well, I understand. Like, there's so many things that we try to justify in our own heads as to why it's happening, and it just has to be part of some bigger plan or bigger something strategy going on. I think there's a lot less of that happening than people think. And so when, like, I don't think we need to be doing any of those things. Jay Ricken says, agree 100% with you, John. This seems pretty petty and childish and undermines the serious nature of the actual crimes committed. I initially hoped that something would come out of discovery that we can't know yet. Yeah, that's the one hope we have. But unless there's something like much more serious there that they find, like, oh yeah, he definitely was actually legitimately calling for the president to be assassinated. If there's no proof of that, then yeah, it's pretty weak. Monty 710, good to see you, Monty. Hey, John, I'm half an hour behind as usual, but I went over to Twitter, hit the like, and in truth, and will go to YouTube. That is what I ask of you guys. The one thing I ask of you is to make sure you like us on all platforms. Jonathan 121878, a good host will make a bad news day interesting. You know, I can only do so much. What's up, Smoke? John's hair is news. Is my hair better today than yesterday, at least? It's just a bad hair day. You could have a show segment of top states' local stories, John. Your show's not week. Thank you. Again, it was me commenting on the lack of actual interesting news. John, off topic, what is your best guess of when you think Devo ended? I don't know. I would say the day before Trump's inauguration when Biden partially revoked EO 13961, but until the National Resilience Strategy comes out, I don't think we'll ever know, because I could be convinced that it's kind of still ongoing. John, you're terrible at rationalizing. Thank you. But yeah, guys, I literally don't have any other news stories pulled up. So what do you want me to talk about? We have like 23 minutes left. Oh, we have a Fox executive bragging on hidden video about charging strip club expenses to the company card. That's funny. Let's take a listen.
I'll be honest, like we used to be able to go to strip clubs.
Like on Fox News?
On Fox, on NBC, with the corporate.
No way.
This. You could take this, walk into a strip club, literally, spend $4,000.
Oh my God.
You could put anything on.
Really?
You could say, well, the client wanted to go to a strip club. They're like, dude, it's Tuesday at fucking 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, well, the client wanted it. And they'd be like, okay, they would give you the money.
Would you do this like just with like hosts or like?
No, we would
like,
just do it ourselves and lie it to the expense reports.
Oh, okay.
Like when I'm bringing in 90 million, no one's gonna fucking say a word to me.
It's Jason.
Hey, Jason. This is Raider from O'Keefe Media Group. How you doing?
From what in what regard?
Jason, I have you on hidden camera talking to one of our undercover journalists. I'd like to speak with you about it.
No, thank you.
Jason, I'd just like to talk to you about how you said you use the Fox business credit cards to pay for strippers and that you lie in the expense reports. That's what you said to one of our undercover journalists.
Okay, bye.
Do you want to speak to me about it?
Dude makes $90 million a year. That's crazy. If that's true. Spetzel, I'm about 3/4 of the way through the Grassley Clinton thing. And this is the part that came out earlier this year. So my thought of this, the timeline that came out that we already had, I'm curious if they had this full document, the full 91 pages, why did they only release this timeline part? Why didn't we get the other part much sooner? Because it all goes in one document. But yeah, otherwise I haven't found anything that's as interesting to me or anything that we didn't already know that I would discuss about. TJ Cable's Dallas Stars, Minnesota Wild Go Stars. You cannot be a Stars fan, bro. It's unacceptable. Unacceptable. Anything except Eric Kirkland or Candace Owens. Yeah. AI gets very upset if you dare say anything bad about Dr. Fauci. Who exactly is a Fox News client? Good question. Hey, what did O'Keefe say? If you're a 5 and she's a 10, she's one of our reporters. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Oh, brings in $91 million in revenue, not salary. Gotcha. Yeah, I misheard that, Ash, and that's a lot of money. Ash, people are saying we should do a show on how RICO works, and I'm not opposed to it. Good news today. Super Normie friends are asking about Morin's and fraud sheet today. Yeah, I haven't gone through the Morin's indictment yet. It's about 30 pages. I did look at it, but I haven't gone through it. Maybe I will. I think Fauci, I'm pretty sure the statute of limitations potentially on him runs out in like 2 weeks. So I am very hopeful that this Morin's thing leads to Fauci being next. Otherwise, he could potentially get away with it, unless there's also a treason charge in the looks for him too. Ash 1776, John, if your team wins the next round, we're going head to head, which sucks for you. I don't know. I think it'll be that'll be a good series. Wild are on fire right now. The Wild haven't given up an even strength goal in 207 minutes, which is crazy. Anita happens. If you do a show on Rico, include Alpha. You could probably do that. Robert's Rules of Order show. That would be a fun one too. Ash, is there anything else I'm missing? Anything new? Did I see that Tina Peters, the judge, denied recusing himself? Pretty sure I saw that. Erica Kirk just spoke about Trump's last assassination attempt on News Nation. Do I need to go watch that or something? Is it worth watching? Well, I'll go check it out real quick while you guys listen to a soft disclosure ad. Get yourself some soft disclosure.
Get you some of that beard oil.
Now that I'm alone, got the close up. Do you see how awesome my beard looks right now?
I use the beard oil every single day. First thing. Comes out feeling all silky smooth. I take the dropper and I manually apply the oil directly to my mustache. Nice and, oh man, I love it. And then I do drops all throughout the hair and then I just rub it all in. And then I top it off with the tallow stick on the face.
But I feel like I have to grow a beard just to try this beard oil. It sounds
Do it, Jay.
amazing.
It's all from softdisclosure.com, and the best part about it is you'll be supporting Badlands Media, Annie from Willow and Farms, and basically 3 of Annie's neighbors. So that's 5 total American companies that you'd be supporting with one purchase.
I have been using the Soft Disclosure scentless beard oil
My home,
every day
Angelino's.
after the shower. It looks unkempt, but it feels silky smooth. I want to look a little wild and unapproachable, but for the woman I trust, she'll be like, oh, it's actually kind of soft. He is approachable after all. Otherwise, stay away. And Soft Disclosure will help you too with that if that's the very specific vibe you're going for.
That is very specific, yes. You guys are supporting American businesses when you do that. It's absolutely incredible, and you get a great, great product.
Softdisclosure.com. I did find the Erica Kirk video, and it's like 8 minutes long. I'm not going to watch that for sure, but I can show you just her look right here. Not to laugh at a grieving widow, but
Our country.
like, what? Why does she look like that? Keith Higgins, what this country needs is a televised high-profile court case like OJ, Rittenhouse, or even Amber Heard trial. We're going to need distractions for the upcoming protests and looting season. Yeah, I would like to see that too. Ash says, I'm excited about the Louisiana decision. People should watch Culture Change. I talked about it. Elias and Eisen most impacted. Yeah, I did mention earlier that people should go back and look and watch that episode. Cannon fodder. It's the Avs League. You're all just chasing the wind. Yeah, we'll see, Ash. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes for you guys. Yeah, with that, I don't know what else to talk about. I have a couple things lined up for tonight's show that we'll discuss. The Comey indictment being one of them. Checking Twitter one more time just to see if there's anything else. Otherwise, I'm going to let you guys out of here early today, because I'm just so generous. Yeah, nothing. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Make sure you guys tune in to the Power Hour tonight. at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you guys get your Deadwood tickets. Deadwood is going to be an awesome time. We're like 8 weeks away. So badlandsmedia.tv/events. And yeah, with that, hit the thumbs up here. Hit the thumbs up over on YouTube and Twitter. And I will see you guys tonight. You guys are dismissed early today. You guys have a good rest of your Wednesday.
Let's get started.
That's what she said.
Oh, that's real good.
Why they stopping me?